when the president was asked yesterday who will be running Venezuela, he said it was you. He said it was the defense secretary. He said it was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Are you running Venezuela right now?
George, I've explained again that the leverage that we have here is the leverage of the quarantine. So that is a Department of War operation, conducting, in some cases, law enforcement functions with the Coast Guard on the seizure of these boats. I'm obviously very intricately involved in these policies. And by the way, very intricately involved in moving forward and what we hope to see some of these changes being addressed. Unfortunately, the person that was there before, who was not the legitimate president of the country, was someone we could not work with, was someone that we could not. He had already suckered the Biden administration a couple of years ago on a deal he didn't keep. And this is someone we simply couldn't work with. We are hopeful that there are people in place now. We're going to find out. The proof will be in what they do or fail to do, that will start making some of these changes that will ultimately lead to a Venezuela that looks substantially and dramatically different from what's been in place for 15 years. But our number one objective is America. We care about Venezuela. We want it to do well moving forward. But our number one objective here is America.
One of our top stories now, Marco Rubio has defended the US operation capturing Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. Joining us live now is political analyst Joe Siracusa. Joe, great to see you. So it's all unfolding and very fast moving, as you well know. But let's go back to the beginning. The actual military operation. Talk us through your opinion on that.
Well, good morning, Janie. Yeah, it was pretty slick, as a matter of fact. It was right up there with getting bin Laden as operational things go. They were able to go in there and pluck him and bring him and his wife out. And this is the first time in, I think, 20 or 36 years, the United States has decapitated the head of a government. So this is a bit of a trick. And it looks like there have been a minimum amount of casualties. I know there are no American casualties, but this is kind of new territory. What do you do when you get Maduro and his wife out? And, because the regime is still in place. Now, Janie, I would bet dollars to donuts that Maduro was sold out, was betrayed in his home ranks, because he had a bounty of $50 million in his head for, arrest or capture, whatever it is. And there'd have been somebody who decided that it was time to sell the old boy. And otherwise, it's pretty hard to explain how the American intelligence agencies were able to know exactly where he was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the guy was sort of in an encampment, so that's a trick. But look, it was a very slick operation, and I don't think yet the Trump administration knows what to say about it. Is it going to be a takeover of the country? No. Are you going to force people to do things through an oil quarantine? Possibly. Can you get anybody to do anything without food, without boots on the ground? You need foot soldiers in any war or conflict in history. Unless you got boots on the ground, you can't make anybody do anything. So we don't know how far this is going to go. And President Trump has said one thing, and of course his critics have said that this is unwise and illegal, and been all the usual protests. But I'll tell you what, as an operation, it was really something to behold.
Yeah.
One minute we're watching our TV screen. Next thing you know, Maduro's on his way to Brooklyn to be arraigned. I mean, this is an extraordinary thing. And, the other thing too is how far do you go with this? I mean, once you've decapitated this guy, I mean, do you go in, start delivering the mail and directing downtown traffic in Caracas? I mean, how far do you go? How far can you go? And Venezuela's lost a quarter of its people in the last 10 years through mismanagement and the rest of it. It's an awful place for people trying to make a living. I mean, I think they're making about $1 a month. So, people are starving there. And the United States is in a position to reassert the Monroe Doctrine. Now, look, Monroe says in the 1820s, Secretary of State and then President Monroe, he says that the New World is not open to colonization. Teddy Roosevelt comes along later with this so-called corollary where he says that the United States has the right to intervene in the life of Latin American countries if they're about to be jumped on by European nations for not paying their debts and the like. So, this is kind of a new wrinkle. But, President Trump never ceases to amaze us, Janie, whether it's bombing the bejesus out of Iran or calling Putin in the middle of the night. I mean, this guy is really quite unpredictable. And I tell you what, it's nice to get a win. Whether you like it or not, or whether you agree with with all the implications, it's a win on our side.
It certainly sounds like that for many people. We've got about 30 seconds to go. But the defense minister of Venezuela, he said, if it's Venezuela yesterday, it's going to be somewhere else tomorrow. Do you agree with that? What are you going to be looking out for?
Not really. I mean, the Venezuela was the recipient of one of the finest naval forces ever floating in the Caribbean. You need the ability to project power. You can talk about being tough in Taiwan, you can be tough in Kiev and other places, but unless you have the ability to project power in a manner that is decisive, it doesn't make any difference. So it all depends on the country wielding the power and all the rest of it. Now, the thing is, how does President Trump what does he do with this thing? How far does he go? And will the MAGA movement, which doesn't like any more of these forever wars, what will they make of him? So there's a lot of steps to be played here. But I'll tell you what, it's a very interesting development.
It certainly is. George Stephanopoulos, always good to see you. We'll talk to you again next week.